We have another week of NFL in the books, and man, it feels good to just sit back, relax. Not relax when I watch my fantasy team, but it feels good to just sit back and enjoy watching some good old-fashioned football. Now this week, another week where we don't go flawless. Like we're hunting the 16-0 flawless. We got it last year. This year, we came out week 1. We finished 12-4 when all things were said and done. It's all right against the money line. It's fine. Now, starting out in week 2, things looked okay. The Patriots, they won. We chose the Dolphins. Dolphins were never picking them again, worst team in the league. The Seahawks beat the Steelers because of some weird execute Caleb Johnson immediately. The Steelers sold that game. That's the second loss of the week. The final loss of the week, so bad. 15-yard leverage penalty on a field goal that missed. And the Broncos lose to the Colts, and Bo Nix is trash, I guess. So that was the 3 losses so far this week, heading into Sunday Night Football. Now, Sunday Night Football, again, I went for the dogs. Sunday night, I have the Falcons over Vikings. Darnell Mooney's back. Kyle Pitts is a beast. Upset alert. That's my pick there. So, honestly, we could have a 4th loss. Monday night, dogs again, Buccaneers on the road, and give me the Chargers as the favorites over the Raiders. We head into week number 3. Week number 3 starts out with a pretty interesting matchup. We have the Dolphins and we have the Bills. Pretty interesting. But it's interesting in a pretty funny way. Why is it interesting? Because there's no way I ever will take the Miami Dolphins to win a game again. Listen, last year we had a team on the no-bet list, the Atlanta Falcons. Sadly, I didn't follow my own advice from last year. I actually bet pretty heavily on the Falcons to win Sunday Night Football this week. So if they lose again, the Falcons might go back on the no-bet list with the Dolphins. But the Dolphins just look so bad. Like, I'm curious. I'm trying to pull up the spread right now for this game. The Buffalo Bills, they look really good. Now, Josh Allen, he left the game a little bit with a broken nose, a bloody nose, whatever you want to call it. I was worried about a concussion. He was fine. The Bills defense rebounds in a big way. They let the Ravens dog walk them defensively, and then they destroyed. Justin Fields had 6 pass yards at halftime. So the Bills rebound in a big way right there. They're 12.5-point favorites at home versus the Dolphins. Now, important note for the Miami Dolphins all season long. While I will say the Miami Dolphins are one of the worst teams in the league, while I say that, they have the pieces. Like, this seems like a team where they can put together a fluke game. So they're kind of always going to be on upset alert that they can pull off a win. But you got to go Bills money line right here. Now, the 12.5-point spread. The Bills are currently one of the best, if not the best, teams in the league. I would actually say that the Bills are going to cover that 13-point spread. The Bills beat the Ravens 41-40 in a dog walk fight. It was a tough game. They come back down, beat the Ravens at home. They beat the Ravens at home by 1 with 41 points. I think they put a lot of points up against the Dolphins defense when Drake May is scoring 30-plus fantasy points against them. Give me the Bills on Thursday Night Football. RIP Dolphins, bro. The season's over. Have fun with Drew Allen. We head to Sunday. The first game of the Sunday slate is 2 teams that sold me in week 2. So I'm angry. I'm angry at both these teams. We have the Patriots hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers didn't do bad. DK Metcalf didn't do bad. It wasn't a bad game for the Steelers offensively. It kind of just felt like it was weird. It was a really weird dynamic of the game. The Steelers' defense isn't good, but they're good at forcing turnovers. Does that make sense? Like, they were giving up yards, but they were making some big plays, especially Jalen Ramsey. He looked really solid. The Patriots, Drake May had a big-time game. But honestly, like, that was weird. You have the Dolphins getting the punt return touchdown. You had the Patriots with the kickoff return. It's such a bad... The Patriots are just as bad as the Dolphins. Just as bad. Maybe a little bit better, but honestly, they're one of these teams where I don't want to ever pick them, but they are always going to be on upset alert. You have Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers taking on Drake May, Mike Vrabel. I honestly like the Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers pairing just a little bit more. Looking at the matchup, we have the Steelers as 1.5-point favorites on the road. I'm going with Pittsburgh. I am. Jets at Buccaneers. This is one of the harder games to predict. Now, again, I haven't seen the Buccaneers. I have them as the upset over the Texans. We'll see how that game goes on the road on Monday Night Football. You guys will probably already know, but I think the Buccaneers are a very good team. They're obviously not going to have Godwin for this game. They're going to have Evans. They're going to have Ibuka. I'm high on both of them. Justin Fields and the Jets looked so bad. Garrett Wilson, I mean, he was open a couple times. The Jets were dropping passes. Basically, unless Fields was putting it right here, then it was a drop. Like, it was here, not catching it. Here, not catching it. Like, you know what I mean? So it was bad. You had Justin Fields. He's in concussion protocol. He's confirmed to have a concussion. What does that do for this game? It makes me go with Tampa Bay. The Jets, I honestly think, are just as bad as the Dolphins, as the Patriots, the AFC East, bro. The Bills, have fun. Welcome to the playoffs. You're in. You're one of the top 4 teams in the AFC, if not number 1. Especially because they beat the Ravens. But the Jets do not look poised for a Week 3 win right here against Tampa Bay. The current spread of this game is something that's going to change after Monday Night Football. Currently, it's Buccaneers to win by 7. I feel like if the Buccaneers win, they're going to win by 2 touchdowns. It's going to be kind of a blowout. It's going to be what the Bills just did to the Jets. So I think the spread is a little bit risky, but I'm going Bucs money line. Raiders at Commanders. Now, haven't seen the Raiders on Monday Night Football yet. Commanders, I did see, and they did not look good at all against the Green Bay Stout. I'm confident in saying the Packers defense is top 6. They're top 6 this year. I know everyone's saying they're number 1. Maybe even top 5 confirmed. Let it play out. We're in week 2, guys. Don't overreact. But they have played very well against 2 elite offenses of the Lions and the Commanders. The Washington Commanders need a rebound, and they need a rebound in a big way. Looking at the spread for this game, I'm very curious how much are the Commanders going to be favored over the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's less than a touchdown, so they're 5.5-point favorites. Now, don't forget, Geno Smith actually looked pretty solid in Week 1. You'll see him on Monday Night Football. Obviously, I don't even know, bro. Like, you for me to watch Monday Night Football at 10 p.m. Eastern Time? Are you out of your mind? So, RIP that. I'm going Commanders, and the 6-point spread might be something I'm tempted to take, although the Commanders did have trouble with the Giants Week 1. I mean, it was close until they pulled away in the second half, but I think the Commanders have a good chance of covering that. Texans at Jacksonville Jaguars. The Texans have the potential to be a very, very good offense. And their defense, they play dirty, so they're good. However, Texans' offensive line is the worst thing I've ever seen. It might be worse than the Bengals. It might be worse. Like, if Stroud doesn't get hurt just as soon as Joe Burrow does, I mean, the O-line's trying to get him killed. The Jacksonville Jaguars should have beaten the Cincinnati Bengals. Their offense looked good, and BTJ isn't even that involved. You have Diami Brown having 5 catches for 70 yards, dropping a wide-open touchdown pass. ETN looks good. Bashal Tuden looks good. This is actually going to surprise myself. I think, I was high on the Texans coming into this year, but I think I might have to switch up my tune. We'll see what the Texans do on Monday Night Football. Jaguars, 1.5-point favorites. I just watched them blow a game to Jake Browning, so maybe this is a mistake. I'm going Jacksonville here. Rams at Eagles. The Eagles are 2-0. The Eagles are so boring offense. They're so boring offense. Like, I don't, for fantasy, they do not care about your fantasy team, but they do care about winning. Do with that information what you will. In terms of fantasy, make sure you subscribe to True Fantasy Review. It's my fantasy football YouTube channel. Go make sure you check that out. We have all the best fantasy advice. We'll be breaking out all that stuff. The Eagles players, it's not looking good unless you're Saquon Barkley. Even Hurts, I think, is all right. But it's probably time to start panicking there for Eagles players' fantasy football impact. The Los Angeles Rams are a buzzsaw, man. You have Puka Nacua, who I think right now is the number 1 receiver in terms of what he's done the first 2 weeks in the league. Comes out with the 50-yard rushing touchdown. Now, I know you could say, how's he number 1 receiver? Amon Rodgers had 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase just had 14 catches and 170 yards. I get all of that, but Puka Nacua is so good when he's out there and when he's healthy. The Eagles and Rams faced off last year. The Eagles beat them, I think twice actually, one in the regular season, one in the playoffs. I'm pretty confident right here that Saquon Barkley will have a big game. Last year, Saquon Barkley feasted against LA. I think that's going to happen again. Eagles have home field advantage. Now, I would not be surprised at all if LA came in here and upsets the Eagles. The Rams are 4.5-point dogs. I am not touching this spread. Like, what do I think the spread should be? I think the spread should be Philly -1. It's Philly -4.5. Absolutely not touching that. In fact, I would go with the Rams to cover because the Rams offense might be playing better in terms of their play calls, being able to run and pass. The Eagles can pass, I think, but they're not. You know what I mean? It's really like 70% run heavy. So it's a weird kind of game the Eagles play where they just ground and pound, control the clock. I'm going Philly here at home for the money line, but don't be surprised if the Rams pull off an upset. Colts and Titans. The Titans defense might be better than we expected. Cam Ward also bounced back in a pretty big way. You had the Titans kind of they were kind of in the game. They were kind of hanging around with the Rams. Obviously, they do not get the job done. Cam Ward, 19 completions, 33 attempts, 175 yards, and a touchdown. Watch out for Alik Iomana. He had 4 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. This guy is a rookie, 4th-round draft pick, big body guy, and him and Cam Ward seem to have a bit of a connection. Now, the challengers, you have Indiana Jones, 2-0 as a starting quarterback in Indy, and I'm going with the Colts here. It's a matter of how much. The Colts are only 3.5-point favorites. I'm not 3.5 a bit aggressive. Go in there, press alternate spread. Give me the Colts by 3. Bengals at Vikings. The Joe Burrow news is bad. It's bad news. Now, we'll see what the Vikings do on Sunday Night Football. If the Vikings win Sunday Night Football, it's going to be even more motivation for me to go here and say, give me the Vikings. The Bengals, they let Jake Browning run the offense. 3 interceptions, 2 tutties, but bro was hauling that football, right? He was throwing it around. Vikings are 4.5-point favorites in this game. The Bengals defense is bad. B-A-D, bad. The Vikings, what J.J. McCarthy are we going to get? Is he going to be the second half of the Bears game, J.J. McCarthy, or the first half? We'll see what he looks like on Sunday Night Football. I'm going with the Vikings here for money line. Reserve the right to change based on injury news. Again, probably not a game I want to bet on. Falcons at Panthers. Carolina Panthers get the onside kick, and they still lose to the Cardinals. Embarrassing. Bryce Young, I don't know, man. He's not looking good. He's not looking good. I tried telling you guys coming into this year, listen, 10 McMillan can be good. 10 McMillan, let's see, I can pull up the box score right now. I think he actually had a pretty good game. Looking at T-Mac, he had 6 for a hundo. So yeah, T-Mac, solid game. Bryce Young, 35 completions. Oh my God, he's insane. 330 yards. Oh my God, 3 touchdowns. 55 pass attempts. What? The run game was non-existent. 10 rushes, 38 yards for Chuba. I don't know what the hell was going on there. Realistically, if the Panthers didn't turn the ball over to the Cardinals, they might have had a better chance to win this game. The Cardinals defense gets the touchdown, which, that was kind of wild, right? So the Panthers have not been playing well enough for me to say the Panthers can win this game at home. Things can get tricky here when you have the Falcons challenging the Panthers. I'm going with Atlanta to win this game. Now, a matter of how much. Falcons are 3.5-point favorites. Again, they might be on the no-bet list after Sunday Night Football. If they do me dirty against Minnesota, then Bryce Young, I might have to ride the bandwagon. But I hate both these teams. Falcons, we'll give them the money line. We'll give them the spread. Packers at Browns. Dylan Gabriel threw a touchdown pass to Dylan Sampson. You might not know that, but that did happen against the Baltimore Ravens today. When Joe Flacco was pulled, the Ravens were mollywhopping them. So the Browns defense is good, but the Browns are in that level with the Patriots, with the Dolphins, where they can pull off an upset, but I wouldn't bet on it. You know what I mean? And the Packers are in that level where they're upper echelon, and their defense, I feel bad for the Browns. Packers are 8.5-point favorites here, and that seems like a pretty good bet. Now, the Packers offense might have a bit of a hard time because I feel like, I wish I saw them moving the ball a little bit easier in the first week of the season. They put up 27 on the Lions. Week 2, they put up 27 against the Commanders. The Browns defense is nothing to write. They're tough. The Browns defense is tough. Maybe they hold the Packers at 20, 21, and that would suck here for the spread. The spread is 8.5 points. Packers have to cover. So the spread seems aggressive, but I'm definitely going Green Bay, and I think they win by a touchdown. Saints at Seahawks. Spencer Rattler might actually be all right. Now, with that said, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Seahawks. The Seahawks pull off the upset. They say, TVR, why would you ever doubt us? Scam Darnold is number 1. At clutch time, right? Number 1 at seeing ghost, more like it. Spencer Rattler, I can't. This guy has never, N-E-V-E-R, never won a National Football League game. So why would I bet on him to pull off the upset? Seahawks are 7-point favorites. That seems like a big spread, but I'm taking Seattle to win. Broncos at Chargers. This feels exactly how the Broncos and Colts game did. I have no idea who was going to win this game. I had no idea who was going to win Broncos and Colts either. It came down to a leverage penalty on a field goal kick. Now, the Chargers, I mean, they look really, really good in week 1. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites. This might be a game you have to bet on to get those parlay odds up. And looking at the 2.5-point odds, I would bet that. I think the Chargers are going to beat the Raiders on Monday Night Football by a good amount. I think this spread's probably going to shift. The Broncos have not looked good the first 2 weeks of the season. Sure, they beat the Titans, but did they deserve it? I mean, defensively, yes. Offensively, no. Week 2, they blow the game to the Colts. They had them. They choked. So I'm going with the Chargers, who I haven't seen them look bad yet. So I'm going LA at home, 2.5-point favorites. Might have to be the pick that you throw in your parlay at 50-50 to boost the odds. Cowboys at Bears. Both of these teams are so bad. Both of these teams, what do you do when they're trash? It's trash versus trash. It's not trash versus trash, it's trash versus trash. Bears are 1.5-point favorites. Caleb Williams is getting you some fantasy points on the ground. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Kevontae Turpin, overtime, 40-37 win. Russell Wilson just dropped 600 yards. Malik Neighbors just dropped 600 yards in her head. I mean, every single pass I looked at from Russell Wilson, the trajectory of the ball was 90 degrees vertical up, and it was a bomb, right? The Cowboys defense was bad. Now, the Cowboys come out, they signed Jadeveon Clowney right after this game to boost the defense. Bears fans are looking for a win, and I feel like their voices are probably going to get louder if they lose this game here to the Cowboys. Now, I am very anti-Bears. I'm very anti-Caleb Williams. Roman Nuzé had a big game. I think the smart thing here is to say the Bears win this game, because the Cowboys have not shown me anything to say that they wouldn't. Now, with that said, I want to have a dog. I want to have a dog. Cowboys 1.5 points on the road. Give me the Cowboys 1.5 points. We'll take them over the Chicago Bears. Doesn't feel good, but we'll do it. Cardinals at 49ers. Brock Purdy it sounds like he has a chance, but it doesn't sound like it's a high chance. And Mac Jones led him to a win over the Saints, but was it convincing? I mean, the defense and Nick Bosa had a game-ending sack, but the Saints did have a chance for a game-winning drive. The Cardinals also almost just lost to the Panthers. Give them the onside kick. You're not too happy about that either. Cardinals are 1.5-point favorites here on the road. I'm not touching this game. NFC West games get wild. I'm going Cardinals, but I'm staying away. Chiefs at Giants. Chiefs are 0-2 for the first time in the Pat Mahomes era. Yeah, get wrecked. Now, the Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites here. Russell Wilson was throwing some bombs. Listen, if the Eagles had a tough time with this Chiefs defense, I don't care. Listen, the Cowboys defense is not comparable. Russell Wilson just dropped 700 yards on the Cowboys. It's back to reality. It is back to reality. What the heck were they doing with the two QB sets? They weren't two QB sets, but they would have Russell Wilson one play, and they would just keep swapping quarterback. And they randomly started on the game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. I was like, what? What is going on? But Malik Neighbors is insane. The Giants, this is Sunday Night Football, really? I mean, hey, it's not going to be very entertaining, I guess. I'm going with the Chiefs here for sure. And honestly, 6 points, I don't mind that either. It sounds like Xavier Worthy's probably going to play here as well. Monday Night Football, thank God we only have one game on Monday night this time, not another 10 p.m. game, because that's crazy. Good game. Why is this not Sunday Night Football? Lions at Ravens. I like the Lions, man. I do. I do like the Lions. I've been a believer in them. Lions come out, they dog walk the Bears. 51-22, I think, was the score. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 3 receiving touchdowns. Jared Goff played very, very well. The rushing game was obviously a lot better. Now, we saw them against a good team week 1, and they crumbled like a crumble cake, man. So it was bad. The Ravens, on the other hand, bounced back in a big way, and they destroyed the Browns. They were probably fuming that Derrick Henry fumbled in week 1, that they cost them the game against the Bills. They destroyed them. The Ravens are hungry. The Ravens are playing this game at home. I'm going with Baltimore here, and this also might be one you throw in your parlay, although the Ravens are 5.5. Wow. 5.5-point favorites here at home. That seems like, if you ask me how much do you think they're going to win by, I would say 6. But the fact that the spread is right on the dot, that is, I'm probably not touching the spread for this game, but I do think the Ravens win. So that is week 3 predictions in the book, man. Again, the record for the season, it's all right. We're sitting here at, what is it? We're 22-7. I want 16-0. I want a 16-0 week before the bye week start. Do you think we can get it? Let me know down in the comments. Smash that subscribe button. Go check out True Fantasy Review as well on YouTube. Signing off. See you boys in week 4.